One of the most compassionate acts I've ever seen is that of a woman named Dr. Hawa Abdi, who is a Soviet-trained gynecologist who lives in Somalia. She's Somali, and her medical training is a relic of Cold War alliances. So she has, for more than 20 years, been running a hospital for women on her family farm. And that hospital began with a single bed, and it now has 140 beds. And what's happened is, because she is such a strong community leader, that in the chaos in contemporary Somalia, which has been a failed state for longer than any other country on the planet for the past 20 years, with 17 failed attempts at a government, Dr. Hawa has taken in people fleeing war. When I last visited her, she had about 90,000 such people living on her family farm, living on a plot of scorched earth, essentially. And when she and I walked, we walked among new arrivals, and they were building houses that look like branch igloos, basically. They look like upside-down bird's nests. These are what nomads have historically built. And then they cover them with tarps. And the women, because there were no men there, the men are dead or they fled. So the women were fighting over tarps. They wanted to put tarps on these structures. And Dr. Hawa and I climbed this extremely steep hill to stop them from fighting, because she needed to talk to them. And as we were climbing this hill, she told me that the hill was not a hill at all. It was a mass grave for 10,078 people who she had buried in the early 90s, when she shook the first President Bush's hand. For nearly a decade now, the international community has had almost no presence in Somalia. Worse, in the past 6 months, Dr. Hawa has recently survived another attack by militants. It's not the first. She continues this work in Sudan, serving 100,000 people, running a school for 850 children with her bare hands. She's sold all the family gold. Doctors Without Borders has left her family farm. WFP, the World Food Program, no longer can get food aid into her. And yet she and her 2 daughters, one of whom lives in Stone Mountain, Georgia, Deco Mohammed, her daughters continue to work this plot of earth to provide the only kind of means of survival that these 100,000 people will see.